Picture this. Your mother worked her whole life. Her dad did too. They paid bills, kept food in the house, helped people when they could, maybe even bought a home. From the outside, it looked like progress. But then they pass on, and somehow the next generation is right back in survival mode. The house gets sold. The savings disappear into funeral costs, medical bills, and old debt. The kids argue. The grandkids start from scratch. And the family that looked stable on the outside realizes there was never real protection underneath it. That is one of the most painful money stories in Black America. Not just that wealth is hard to build, but that when we do build it, it often doesn't stay.
The real problem isn't just income. A lot of people think wealth and income are the same thing. They are not. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Wealth is what protects you when life gets ugly. Wealth is what gets passed down. Wealth is the difference between a setback and a collapse. That's why two families can make similar money and still live in totally different realities. One family gets hit with a car repair and says, "That's annoying." Another family gets hit with the same repair and says, "We might not make rent."
Brookings found that in 2019, Black households had average liquid assets of about $1,500, compared with $8,100 for white households. They also found that 72% of white households said they could get $3,000 from family or friends in an emergency, compared with only 41% of Black households. That means many Black families are not just carrying less money, they're carrying less backup. And when there is no backup, wealth does not just grow slower, it disappears faster.
This is where a lot of generational wealth dies. Not in some dramatic stock market crash, not in some Hollywood scam, but in regular life. A funeral, a hospital stay, a layoff, a broken roof, a parent needing care, a child needing help. One crisis after another, taking bites out of whatever the family managed to save. That is why emergency savings matter more than people think. They are not boring. They are not optional. They are a shield. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says even a small emergency fund can help people recover faster from financial shocks and avoid turning one bad moment into long-term debt. They recommend building the habit with specific goals, automatic transfers, and saving even small amounts when money is tight. In other words, sometimes the reason wealth disappears is because it was never allowed to sit still long enough to become wealth. It kept getting drafted back into survival. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest misunderstandings in our community. A house can absolutely be a powerful asset, but a house alone is not a full wealth plan. The Federal Reserve found that Black wealth gains were concentrated heavily in housing, while real average liquid wealth for Black families actually fell. That means some families were getting wealthier on paper while still feeling cash poor in real life, because home equity is not the same as having money in checking or savings when the bills hit every month. That is a hard truth, especially for older people who were taught that buying a home was the finish line. It is not the finish line. It is one piece. Because if a family inherits a house, but not cash, not a will, not insurance, not a maintenance fund, not clear paperwork, that asset can become a burden fast. And that is how something built with sacrifice turns into confusion. A lot of Black families are not just missing inheritance. They are missing the entire pipeline that creates inheritance, or major financial gift. 34.8% versus 13.2%. White recipients were also far more likely to receive multiple transfers and vastly more likely to receive very large ones. So when a child from one family gets help with college, a first car, a down payment, or even just a safe place to fall back to, and another child gets none of that, those are not small differences. That is the gap reproducing itself in real time. And one of the saddest parts is that even education alone does not fully fix it. The Richmond Fed notes that the link between parental education and transfers is much weaker for Black families. So even when Black families do everything right, the same financial handoff often still does not happen. That means the next generation often receives ambition, but not assets.
Wealth is also lost through fees, friction, and financial exclusion. Sometimes it disappears in little leaks. Check cashing fees, overdraft fees, higher insurance costs, loan denials, bad loan terms, no relationship with a bank or credit union, no mainstream credit, no one teaching the difference between a liability and an asset. The FDIC reported that in 2023, Black households were still much more likely to be unbanked than white households, 10.6% versus 1.9%. And underbanked households often rely on non-bank services to meet financial needs, which can mean more fees, less protection, and fewer opportunities to build stable financial habits. That matters. Because when your money lives in expensive systems, it gets weaker before it ever gets a chance to grow.
What really gets passed down? Let me put it this way. Every family passes something down. Some pass down paid-off property. Some pass down debt. Some pass down discipline. Some pass down confusion. Some pass down a business. Some pass down fear around money.
And if no one teaches the next generation what money is for, what assets are, how to protect property, how to avoid getting stripped by fees and bad decisions, then even hard-earned progress can vanish in a generation. That is why this conversation is not just about money. It is about stewardship. It is about whether the next generation receives instructions with the asset. Because a house without a will is a problem. Savings without beneficiaries is a problem. Life insurance without a plan is a problem. A family business without trained successors is a problem. We cannot just pass things down. We have to pass down understanding.
So what do? First, we stop pretending wealth starts with investing. Sometimes wealth starts with getting organized. A real bank or credit union account, a written budget, a small emergency fund, a paid-down high-interest debt balance, automatic savings, a will, named beneficiaries, life insurance that actually fits the family's needs, paperwork people can find, conversations nobody wants to have. That is not small stuff. That is family infrastructure.
The CFPB recommends setting a savings goal, making contributions automatic, tracking progress, and using windfalls like tax refunds to build emergency reserves faster. That may sound simple, but simple is powerful when a family has spent generations operating in crisis. Second, we have to widen what we call wealth. Wealth is not just a paycheck. It is not just a nice funeral. It is not just a paid-off car. It is not just a house with no plan around it. Wealth is assets plus systems. Third, we have to teach the next generation earlier, not after they blow their first check, not after debt traps them, not after somebody dies. Early. Teach them banking, teach them credit, teach them investing, teach them what ownership means. Teach them that keeping money is as important as making it.